And now, Eyewitness News Night Beat.
And good evening. We begin now with a breaking weather situation. A severe thunderstorm warning has been posted within the past 20 minutes for Hartford County.
Let's go straight to Hilton Kaderli for the information you need to know. Hilton.
All right, Donna, Al, let's first go to live Doppler 3 radar, and we'll show you exactly where the strong line of storms is, stretching from Enfield down along Interstate 91 through the eastern section of Windsor Locks, East Windsor, over through Bloomfield and South Windsor, across East Hartford, downtown Hartford, and then along Interstate 84 back through West Hartford and Farmington into the northern portions of New Britain and northern sections of Newington. This line of strong storms has had frequent lightning and hail. Matter of fact, let me show you our street scan radar, a close-up of downtown Hartford. And as we take a close-up look at street scan, you can see this vivid line of thunderstorms cut straight across downtown Hartford at this hour as we show you updating live. Those red colors indicate where the most intense rainfall is, and if there's hail with these storms, where hail is coming down right now. We had a report from Suffield just a few minutes ago from a caller, from a listener who said that they were collecting hail in freezer bags, or the kind of storage bags that you keep cold food in, and that report came in from Suffield. Let's go to our graphics, our weather maps, and we'll pinpoint the warning area for you. Severe thunderstorm warning for Hartford County until 11:15 this evening. We mentioned the downpours, the heavy rain, the gusty winds that could be accompanying this, and we also have the danger of vivid lightning. We put our lightning tracker into motion. You can see how much lightning there is hitting the ground right now in central Connecticut. So lightning, a very dangerous element of this strong storm system. One final element, and let's go to our 3 Live Weather Net. One final element is the heavy rain, and 3 Live Weather Net showing that since this storm moved into downtown Hartford just a few minutes ago, we've had nearly 3/10 of an inch of rain. You add 500, you take away 5/100 of that, and that's what's fallen in the past 10 minutes or so. So rain coming down at an intense rate. So again, severe thunderstorm warning for Hartford County. It'll be moving through Hartford County for the next half hour, I think, and expect briefly heavy downpours, strong gusty winds, hail in some isolated spots, and dangerous cloud-to-ground lightning. The full forecast coming up in a few minutes, and urgent messages. As soon as we get them, we'll pass them along to you, folks.
Okay, Hilton, and the Night Beat is going to stay on top of that weather situation and bring you any breaking developments as soon as they happen.
But there is another major story we want to tell you about tonight. A man hired to build a dock in someone's backyard is killed while doing his job. Authorities say the victim fell off a construction barge right into the Connecticut River. And right now they're trying to find out why he fell and why he never came up. This happening in the town of Deep River. And Night Beat reporter Tracy Martinez is there live with the story for us. Tracy.
Al, the victim, 38-year-old Jonathan Wolak, fell off that barge about a mile down the Connecticut River, and state police aren't sure why. His co-workers say he was a very good swimmer, and the water was only about 12 feet deep. For more than a week, they had been building this dock on the Connecticut River.
Well, there were 3 workers working on the dock over there, repairing it, and one of them fell in and just stayed under.
When weather turned stormy late Monday afternoon, contractors for Bombasi Construction decided to call it a day.
They were setting pilings for a new dock here. They tried to move the barge they were working on because of the electrical storm that was coming. And in the process of doing that, one of the construction workers fell off the side of the barge.
One of the victim's co-workers jumped in, searching frantically for him, but because of the water's zero visibility, he couldn't find him. The 2 remaining workers secured the area where they thought their co-worker had gone down and never came back up. Then they waited for the state police dive team.
The reason he didn't swim, that I can't tell you. I really don't know. He is supposed to be a swimmer, but he may have been injured as he fell and then fell overboard. That I don't know.
Shepard Schwartz, who hired the contractors, came home from work tonight only to hear the horrible news.
It's terrible to come home and find out.
Yes, yes. That's why, like I said, I don't even want to talk about it.
The autopsy will be done tomorrow, and we should have an official cause of death then. Al?
All right, Tracy Martinez live on the Night Beat tonight in Deep River.
Day after day this summer, the story seems the same. A child falling from an apartment window. The latest incident happening today to a little girl in Hartford's North End. Tonight, some expert advice on preventing these injuries. NightBEAT reporter Jennifer Watson has this report.
Anything dealing with children is very close to firefighters' hearts. We raise our own children, so we know what it's like.
It's the kind of call Hartford Fire Chief Ron Dobson hates to get. A child injured, fallen out of a window. And there's been a lot of those calls lately.
I see the little baby, the little boy like this way in the window. And next thing you know, the little girl, I thought it was a girl, come tumbling out the window. I said, oh, God.
Vine Street, Hartford, today. A toddler tumbles 20 feet to the ground. Last week, 3 other cases of children falling out of windows. Amazingly enough, none of the children had life-threatening injuries. They were lucky. Not every child will be. That's why you have to make some easy life-saving changes.
Remove furniture from near the windows. And it would also be a good idea if there were a bed in the room to move the bed actually away from the windows so toddlers won't be able to climb up on it and use it for leverage to get out.
But Dobson says there is no substitute for supervision.
The main thing is to keep an eye on the kids because they do things that are very unexpected and they do them very quickly.
The chief also says open your windows from the top instead of the bottom. In the past week, the children who have fallen out of windows had only a screen between them and the ground. In Hartford, I'm Jennifer Watson, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
They killed a 13-year-old boy and wounded 3 other teens, and they're still at large tonight. The gunman involved in a drive-by shooting over the weekend on Heartland Street in Hartford, a well-kept working-class neighborhood near the Bloomfield line. Police say the shots were fired from a white or tan Acura, and they believe it was the result of an earlier altercation at a picnic.
A sad turn of events for a child who fell into a swimming pool. 3-year-old Thomas Belmonte died yesterday at Connecticut Children's Medical Center. Belmonte's mother found the boy in the family's backyard swimming pool in Bristol last month.
For tonight, that Commander David Caron, the top police detective in Glastonbury, was arrested on a drunk driving charge over the weekend. Caron has a court appearance in 2 weeks.
The people of Waterbury are helping the city fight crime. They're pitching in to send a message to drug dealers and other criminals. And as NightBEAT reporter Dennis House shows us, they're doing it with a new police substation. Dennis.
Yeah, that's right, Donna. Yeah, Waterbury has a proud history, but in recent years there's been a mass exodus of residents. But now, thanks to people who are committed to life in the Brass City, they are telling the criminals to move out by helping beef up police presence.
It is the city known for its Holy Land and its once bustling brass industry. But until recently, one of the only things bustling was crime. Now, as a major mall prepares to change the Waterbury landscape forever, residents are seizing the moment and banding together to improve the entire city.
I'm born and raised here, 34 years.
In the Brooklyn section of Waterbury, residents are putting the finishing touches on a new police precinct. Everything here is donated, from the air conditioner to the paint to the elbow grease, even the building itself, an old gas station.
If you take a picture across the street, you see all vacant buildings. Why? All these storefronts, because drug dealers, people holding people at gunpoint, they just moved out. They got tired of being robbed. And we're hoping with the police station here that people will come back to the neighborhood.
The city says the precinct will help and points to the Willow Street precinct, which has brought a reduction in crime since it opened in April.
Waterbury is in its turning point. We're actually turning the corner. Things are looking up.
The mayor's office hopes a lower crime rate, cheap housing, and new jobs will help attract new homeowners and keep the current ones, like Jerry Cavino, who is spending his free time painting his new community police station.
I've been here 29 years. I like the neighborhood. It's everything that I like it. I like living here, and I'm going to stay here.
Now, this precinct opens tomorrow at 11 a.m. 3 more are planned for other neighborhoods in Waterbury. Alan, Donna?
Good news for residents.
That is.
All right, thanks very much, Dennis. Hundreds gather in Beverly Hills for a final goodbye today to Jimmy Stewart, a memorial service held at Beverly Hills Presbyterian Church tonight where Stewart worshipped. The service was attended by many Hollywood stars and by Stewart's daughter, Kelly Harcourt, who said Stewart withdrew from the world after his wife and her mother, Gloria, died in 1994. The 89-year-old Stewart died last Wednesday from a blood clot in his lung.
Recovery crews are beginning what they expect to be 3 weeks of work in the Colorado Rockies, where an Air Force A-10 warplane crashed 3 months ago. Much of the snow has finally melted now near the town of Eagle. That's where Captain Craig Button and his A-10 Thunderbolt mysteriously veered off course while on a training mission. The plane was loaded with training bombs and ammunition. Today, they found some of that live ammo along with human remains.
Over in Denver, lawyers for Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh file a motion for a new trial. It's said to contain 15 grounds, including jurors being influenced by publicity before the trial and by testimony from bombing victims during the sentencing phase. You'll recall McVeigh was convicted and sentenced to death for the bombing in April of 1995. 168 people were killed.
New York, where most of the jurors are chosen in the trial of a woman accused of trying to extort $40 million from Bill Cosby. Autumn Jackson allegedly threatened to go public with her claim that she is Cosby's out-of-wedlock child if he didn't pay her the money. Soon after the murder of his son Ennis, Cosby admitted to having had an affair with Jackson's mother, but denies he's Jackson's father.
Outside Atlanta, a murder trial is now underway 25 years after the crime. A man's accused of killing his infant stepson and framing his daughter, who was just 2 years old at the time of the baby's death. It wasn't until that girl grew up and began her investigation that the possibility of child abuse and murder came to light.
Detroit, a masseur with the Stanley Cup winning Detroit Red Wings, emerges from a coma nearly a month after this limousine crash. Tonight, Sergei Natsakanov is in serious condition. He'd been unconscious since June 13th. The accident just 6 days after the championship game. Defenseman Vladimir Konstantinov, also injured in the crash, was taken off a ventilator last week.
And some might think Baltimore Oriole Roberto Alomar is just trying to restore his name. Less than a year after spitting on an umpire, Alomar is donating $50,000 to the Kennedy Krieger Institute. The money will help fund landmark research into a rare, fatal childhood illness that killed the umpire's son.
Well, there's still a lot going on in space tonight. The crew of the space station Mir will soon be able to make repairs, and the astronauts on board the Space Shuttle Columbia are using lasers now to conduct experiments.
But perhaps the most interesting is the information from the Pathfinder spacecraft and information that's telling us about Mars. Right now, the remote-controlled vehicle is sending back pictures of a boulder dubbed Barnacle Bill. We'll have more for you in just a few minutes.
Also on the Night Beat, the circumstances behind how 2 teenagers were knocked unconscious and severely burned by lightning during the holiday weekend.
And a father goes on a rampage with his family. The disastrous results are next.
But first, a look at the scene in Hartford just a few moments ago. This is the reason we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Hartford County for the next several minutes at least. Lots of lightning and rain. We'll continue to monitor the situation. Hilton will be back with another look at the radar in just a few minutes.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News. This is Connecticut's news station.
It takes determination, perseverance, and the ability to overcome adversity. The hopes and dreams of the world's best golfers hang in the balance. An event this prestigious only comes to Connecticut once a year, so turn to the one team committed to giving you the best coverage. The action, the suspense, the triumph, the GHO. I'm Joe Tessitore. Join me for the most in-depth coverage of the Greater Hartford Open ever. It's all right here on Channel 3, Connecticut's news station.